Hey guys, Joshua from City Champs. I'm here with Kurt. We're going to do our curriculum, so you can always go back to it in case it's been a while since you taught a class. Welcome to week 5. Alright, so again, we kind of have how we plotted through the first 3 weeks. We assumed somebody was either pushing us or taking us down and what to do to get our weapons back. Last week we did the grip breaks. Now this week we're going to be a little bit more offensive, again, if we don't have a choice. So we're going to work on the very, very basics of a double leg takedown. So hopefully you're coaching with somebody else. If not, we can see where you could do this, but hopefully you're coaching with somebody else. We're going to have them stand basically just like that. Okay, you can see his feet. So have his feet separated, kind of like that. It'll just make it easier for you to explain. What you don't want is somebody like this and they're inadvertently sprawling on you and you don't know it. So what you're going to do, just like that, you're going to take that front foot, we're going to kind of step in, okay? So almost so that your foot crosses the plane of if you drew a line from his one foot to the other, okay? The closer the better, all right? Kurt's a little bit taller of a guy, so I don't need to get that close. All right, so I'm here, then this front leg, this is what's really key. We're not going like this. Okay, we're not using that back leg, we're doing this front leg, and my knee is going to land right in between his legs. Okay? So, stepping down. At that same time, this back leg is coming up just like this. Okay? Step back just a little bit if you don't mind, so I don't take it out immediately. Okay, this is where you want to be. Okay, head to the side and tight. Okay, my shoulders are up. I'm going to grab behind both knees, and I'm going to plant off of this leg to take him this direction, okay? Boom, plant, okay? So this is the practicality of the drill that we're going to teach the kids, okay? We're going to step forward, that front knee, boom, boom, okay? And here's how we're going to teach it. Okay. So we have a different angle, we're going to do it from this way. Okay, we're going to kind of near each other, we're going to take that step forward. Okay? Again, it would almost intersect his two legs, or his 2 feet. That front knee is going to go down. This is coming up just like this. Hands behind the knees, using your head as a guide. You're going to take him down. And this is how we're going to show you how to do that, or the drill we're going to use. So, this is called the steppity step, alright? So, we're going to kind of real thin train tracks, okay? 1 foot ahead of the other, just a little bit more than if we were walking. We're going to take that front step, just a little bit, and then that front knee is going to hit the mat, boop, just like that. Again, just like anything that we do that's body mechanics, we want to see good posture here. We don't want to see, shoulders in, head down, all that kind of stuff. Elbows back, good posture. Front knee hits, back knee comes up, okay? Now we're going to do it again because we can just do it in a line like a drill, okay? Now we're in that same essential position, right? That front knee is going to hit, boom. Bring that leg up, just like that. Boom, down, up, down, up. Okay, and that's the drill that we'll be teaching, the steppity step.
All right guys, week 5 is just a review of week 3. So go back, review week 3 curriculum, and knock it out of the park for week 5. We'll see you in week 6. Back on the ground, we're going to show you some basic position to kind of be safe on the ground if your opponent is still standing, how to move on the ground, and how to kick from the ground, and then finally how to safely get back up to your feet. Okay, so first off, I'll show you a couple of different angles on this. So a lot of reasons you can put it into context why you end up on the ground, especially from doing the jiu-jitsu side. We've talked about some of those reasons. You get pushed to the ground, maybe you slip and fall, all kinds of different, maybe you get punched and you get knocked to the ground. A lot of reasons why you could end up here, but once you're there, you gotta be able to defend yourself. So if I'm on my back, have the kids kind of start out with on their back, both feet on the ground. First thing, bring your hands up towards your face. These kids they don't have a lot of body conditioning yet, so a lot of times they'll relax, and they'll lay down like this, and that's not a good way to stay in a defensive position. You kind of got to be in that half sit-up position. A lot of times they'll put their hands behind their heads like this too. Surprisingly, I can see a lot of professional fighters do this in the cage, and it's not necessarily the best way to protect yourself. So keep your hands up in front of your face, keeping that half sit-up position, and then you're going to take one leg. In this case, I'll take my right leg. I'm going to pull my knee. I call it chambering the kick, because you're going to pull that knee very close to your body. The bottom of your foot should be pointed at your opponent. Things to think about: kids are going to do this. They're going to drop that foot. They're going to get lazy. So eventually this is going to become a kick, and the only way this kick is effective if it starts from here. So if they get lazy like this, it takes another step, it takes more time to re-chamber and then kick. So this is your good position. Knee is chambered, hands are up, heads are off the ground. So now once we're on the ground, we know how to be in a good defensive position. We may have to move because the person that we're up against is, in this scenario, is on their feet still. They're certainly going to be using that advantage to move around. So I'm in my position where my knee is chambered, my bottom of my foot is pointed at my opponent, my hands are up, my head's off the ground. Okay, from here, if Josh gets past this leg, right, if he gets past this leg, look how close his feet are to my face now, right? He can soccer kick me, he can go knee to belly, he can do all kinds of things, start using his grappling against me. So it's very important I try to keep my legs between myself, my vulnerable areas like my head, and my opponent. So we talked about this before. If this leg gets lazy, right now Josh is thinking about that. He's got to figure out how to get past that. If he comes in too close, boom, he gets kicked, okay? But if he sees his leg get lazy, now it's not a threat. It gives him that second just to step, and he can come around that leg very easy. So very important we keep that chambered. If he starts moving to that direction, my right, I'm going to use my bottom foot as a rudder to steer. If Josh moves to the left, I got to switch my feet. Now use my right foot as a rudder. Again, to try to keep him between my vulnerable areas and him. Okay, so that's movement. I have the kids work on that, go different ways, make them work. Part of self-defense is getting in shape. You know, all things being equal, the person who's in a little better shape has a little bit of an edge. So this is a good way to condition kids as well. All right, so we know how to be in a defensive position on the ground. We know how to move on the ground. Now we need to know how to kick from the ground, because eventually I want to get back up to my feet. Even if you're a good jiu-jitsu player, you're very good on the ground. In a self-defense situation, you always want to, at some point, extract yourself from it. Okay, and I've never known anybody that can run when they're on the ground. So we got to get back to our feet. So first, I got to be able to drive him away. So in this situation, if you're holding a pad for a kid, and again, I don't recommend kids holding for each other. We're just not ready for that yet. I don't want kids to kick until they see a target, and that goes for any striking. Don't throw a punch, don't throw a kick, don't do anything unless there's a target. If he's out there right now, I don't have a target, so there's no point in me kicking. And every time I throw that kick, I'm vulnerable. If I miss, it's easy for him to step around to the side. So also very important after you kick is to recoil that kick back into that chambered position that we talked about. So as a pad holder, make sure you're close enough where the kid's actually going to have a good target that they can kick. Make sure the kid doesn't kick until you're back in position. Because if they kick really hard, they can hyperextend their knee. So having the kid understand distance and managing that distance is also part of the training. So I maybe start out with having the kids kick 50%, 75%. So maybe here, nice leg kicks, hitting with the heel and the bottom of the foot. So maybe have them throw a few of those, recoiling the kick. Notice what I'm doing too, when that kick comes out and I strike, watch what happens to my hips, because guess where the power comes from? Our hips, right? So when that kick, I'm not just kicking here, I'm actually getting my heel so it's in line with my hip. So my hips come up off the ground. So that creates a straight line between my hip and my heel. What does that mean? It means I get more power. Watch what happens with my hands when I kick those. So when he comes in, my hands got to come down because I create a platform with my elbows so I can kick. One of two things are going to happen. If it's a strong kick, he may go backwards, which will give me room to stand up. If he's much bigger than me and he plows in and I kick and pushes me backwards, that's okay too, because that's still creating space. Okay? That's what this kick is about. It's about creating space between you and the attacker to give you time to get up. One kick probably isn't going to do it. It could take multiple kicks. it could take multiple targets. So different areas we can kick. You can talk about kicking to the groin. You can talk about kicking to the stomach. If he bends down to grab you, you can talk about kicking to the face. You can even kick to the knee. Okay? Obviously, you can talk about that in context, but for the drill itself, you want him kicking to the pad. That's kicking from the ground. Okay, final part of week 3 is getting up to our feet. So after we use that kick to create some space between ourselves and the attacker, that's our window of opportunity to get back up to our feet and either take the fight to our other skills, our stand-up skills, or use that opportunity to run away. Okay? So if I'm here, let's say I throw that kick, I drive my opponent back. This gives me an opportunity to sit up. 2 things happen when I sit up. My opposite hand of the foot that kicked, so in this case my right foot kicked, my left hand's going to come up to protect my face. The right hand is going to come to the mat because I'm going to use this to push my weight up off the ground. Very important, if you look at my hand, it's not pointed straight back. What that does is it locks my elbow out. So if that opponent were to come crashing back into me, my elbow is going to hyperextend more than likely. I could very well break my arm. Okay, so what I want to do is kind of keep my hand at an angle. So if he does crash into me, that elbow collapses. Okay, and I protect my elbow. So I'm going to put my hand down of the foot that just kicked. Same hand goes to the ground. Opposite hand comes up to put a barrier between me and the attacker. From there, I push my weight up off the ground, and then that kicking foot comes underneath, all the way back, and I get up to my feet. Okay, this is very important because by getting up this way, I'm always keeping my eye on the attacker. I'm not just rolling up this way, which leaves me very exposed, takes my eyes off the attacker. Rather, I'm kicking and always keeping something between me and the attacker. Same way on the other side. I kick, come up, and get to my feet. And then I'm in my fighting stance. And that's it for week 3. We'll see you in week 4.